Vardhan Tiwari. I'm the project lead at Project Maverick. As you're well aware by now that the project is dedicated to Professor Shamnad Basheer and his goal of making legal education reach marginalized communities in every corner of this country. The idea is to create leaders and not followers. Access must be created where it is possible. And there are small things each of us can do. At Lawsikho, we aim at providing free training for law aspirant for all law entrance examination. I remember when I was preparing for CLAT in 2013, I read Ramanuj, at that time I read it as Ramanuj Mukherjee. Right now I will be introducing him as a co-founder and CEO of Lawsikho. And it was his vision to come up with Project Maverick. I read his lines which have very impact till now, and these were related to what to do at law school. He wrote for Gyan Central, and I quote, "Whatever be your interest, know that you can make a difference by getting out there and trying to do something real. Not only will you build skills, get exposure and experience, people will rally behind you to make you successful. Get out of sandbox and make something real happen. There's no reason to wait until you graduate as a lawyer." With this particular notion, I would like to introduce Mr. Ramanuj Mukherjee. He's the CEO and co-founder at Lawsikho, and he will take us through this entire session. The topic of the session is law as a career, and there are various questions which are asked by the law aspirants as to why they should choose law as a career. So we have divided this particular session into some subsections, that is details of law entrance examinations, life in a law school, career after law, is it a right career for me, which are the top institute to pursue law in India. So, sir, coming on to the first one, that is details of law entrance examination. So would you like me to go ahead with it?
Yeah, sure. Let's start. Yeah.
So coming to the details of law entrance examination in India, let me take you through. There are a few major entrance examination in our country. The first and foremost being CLAT, Common Law Admission Test. It is scheduled for 22nd of August 2020 as of now. It is 150 marks MCQ based questions, 1 mark each, negative marking, 2-hour test. The section tested are English, current affairs, legal, logical, and quantitative aptitude. Apart from that, there is another entrance examination, AI-LET, which is for admission to NLU Delhi. It is of 150 marks. The time duration is a little change. It's 1.5 hours. English, 35 marks, GK, 35 marks, legal, 35 marks, reasoning, 35 marks, and maths of 10 marks. This is another one. The next famous law entrance examination in our country is for Symbiosis Law Colleges. That is known by the name of CLAT. This year, it's online proctor test. 75 minutes will be given to MCQ, 30 minutes will be given to VAT. Written ability test. It's a 105 minutes exam this year. Each section, which is logical, legal, AR, RC, and GK, will be of 15 marks each. So these are the major law entrance examinations which are conducted in our country. Now, with that being done, I would ask sir to take us through this particular entire notion of life in a law school. So what do you?
So, let's begin by saying it this way that, if you have decided to study law, there must be a moment in which, something inspired you about studying law. I have spoken to a lot of people and I have counseled them about, their legal career after while they are studying law and while they become lawyer. I asked them that, what do you remember the moment in which you decided that you want to study law? There are few people who say things like, my parents told me you have to study law. It was not my choice. But usually there is a moment in every law student or lawyer's life when they said that, yeah, I want to become a lawyer like this. Some image is in their head which inspired them at the moment that, I could be a very powerful lawyer, or I could be somebody helping so many people. I could make a difference. Some people care about, that as a lawyer, I could be earning so much money sometimes. And there are different motivations that people have. But usually they have that moment of clarity when they're excited about being a lawyer. And that's a very special thing, when people go to study BCom or BBA, usually that is not the case. But law is a profession and it has a very there's an image that of a lawyer, a person who's very effective, speaks really well, persuasive, writes well, very knowledgeable, somebody with maybe great intellectual prowess. and somebody, that kind of image comes to our mind, especially when you're young and you want to be a lawyer. And I think that's a very, it's a self-image that you create in your mind, that I'm going to be a person like this. When I decided to study law, I remember how it happened. I was basically preparing for West Bengal joint entrance exam, and I wanted to be a doctor. I didn't want to be an engineer, and I wanted to be a doctor. That much I knew, because I felt like as a doctor you can make a lot of contribution, you can be successful, and again it's a profession that requires knowledge, values knowledge. With more knowledge you can have success. So I was preparing for that, and it appealed to me at that time, but not fully. Like something was a little unsettled in me about being a doctor. But that seemed like the best option. I was preparing, and then one day I heard about law as a career. I saw an advertisement where Sachin Malhan, that time he used to run, he was the CEO of of LST, Law School Tutorials, and there was a career counseling session he was doing in St. Xavier's College in Calcutta. So I went there and I saw him on the stage, and he spoke about national law universities and what you can do and all the different opportunities and everything. And it really resonated with me. And I was like, wow, you can do so much as a lawyer. And it seems like something I want to do. At that time, I thought that I want to be a diplomat. And as a lawyer, I can become a diplomat. I can I can make a difference to international situations. And that really inspired me. So everybody has that moment of clarity where they're inspired by something that as a lawyer that they can do. And also, I saw this person, right, who was Sachin Malhan at that time. He is so articulate, he is so charismatic, and he's speaking like this. He's so persuasive, so amazing. And I was like, if this is what happens when you become a lawyer, I want to also be like this, And usually you have a role model in mind. I have spoken to people, they have said, I want to be like Arun Jaitley, or I want to be like, Ram Jethmalani or somebody. Like, people have different kind of images in their mind that I want to be a lawyer like this. And so people have told me this, that, I want to be a lawyer who's so good at negotiating and like so good at my work that people will fly me from one state to another state, or one city to another city, and, and one country to another country just to argue a matter, or like, just to negotiate a deal. I want to be lawyers like that. And so people have different kind of thought process. I think this is very important when you are deciding to become a lawyer. If you have some ideal on your mind, a vision in your mind, image in your mind that really inspires you, it goes a long way, because becoming a lawyer is not easy. It is actually quite difficult. Getting a law degree is quite easy in our country, to be honest. There are so many law colleges. There are so many, ways to get a law degree. Like, there are, evening colleges, morning colleges, whatnot. Like, a lot of colleges will be very happy to give you easy access to some or the other, way to get your LLB degree. So that is not the difficulty. There are very law colleges where the government law colleges where very minimal fees is there. Even getting in is not that difficult. There are law colleges which will teach you in local languages, Hindi and other local languages also, Marathi, Bengali. There are all law colleges like that. But the difficult part is to become a good lawyer. Okay, it is entirely different thing to get a law degree and to become a good lawyer. These things have almost no correlation. Anybody can get a law degree. There are so many people who get a law degree just to improve their CV. Maybe they are doing something else altogether. They are doing business, they are in management, and they just get a law degree to, in a way, to improve their CV and, show that they also have some legal knowledge. But in reality, we know that when people graduate out of law school, there is very, very little knowledge in most cases. They don't have effectiveness as lawyer. So the image that you saw, that this is the kind of lawyer I want to become, that's much harder than getting a law degree. So this is something that I think you need to keep in mind. And overall, it's not easy to learn law, to be that effective. It takes a lot of hard work. There's so much. Law is so vast. I don't think there's any lawyer who knows all the laws that are there. You have to specialize, or even if you're a generalist, you have to know so much. It's constant learning. It's a life of, constant striving to be better and better and learning so much more. And it's also eventually you are building businesses. Even if you're working for someone else, if you're working in a law firm, you're working as an in-house counsel, in a company, as a lawyer, in all cases, you are either building your own business or you're supporting somebody else's business. You're always doing all of that. So law and then business also comes in at some point, or building organizations, right? All of that comes into picture. So overall, to be successful and effective as a lawyer, it's like a uphill task. And so if you are choosing that, you are choosing a journey of, I would say, of hardship. Okay, it's not comfortable. It is very rewarding. Once you succeed, there is money, whatever you want from life, probably you can get from the profession of law. No question about that. You can, and you'll have tremendous personal development, which is greatly satisfying, but it is not going to be easy. So if you want only comfort, that may be possible. Actually, I won't say it is not possible at all to be comfortable and be a lawyer. It's possible, but then you'll not become that kind of outstanding lawyer or the kind of image you may be having. But yes, lawyers earn good amount of money. No question about that. If you're an effective lawyer, you earn a lot of money. At the same time, there are many lawyers who do not earn well at all. They struggle to make ends meet. Quite a large number of lawyers struggle. But there are so many lawyers, it's such a different world. What can I say? Right now during COVID, I was just meeting a former colleague of mine. I was having a chat with her. And she's like, I have so much work. I don't know how to deliver so much work. Now I'll have to hire people to do so much work because I'm not getting time to breathe. I'm not able to accept new clients that are coming at this time. Okay. And then I hear so many people saying, I don't have any work. I don't have any work. What do I do? I've lost my job. Can you help me? And both sides. So it's like, it's about where you are, how you look at your life, how you look at your career, how you prepare yourself for all situations, how much value you bring on table, how much you're able to help other people, how you identify opportunities and how you go after them. All of these things will matter a lot. Now, what Harsh started by saying, as a law, as a career, that, get out of sandbox, and that he quoted me from an old article, get out of sandbox and build something real. What did I mean by that? So when you go to a law college, you are in this environment where there are a lot of games and fun, right? There's mooting, there's debating, there's maybe Model United Nations, there is conferences and all of that, which is great. As a student, you should have extracurricular activities. You can participate in them. But what is even more powerful, what I've seen to be more effective, more learning, more, you get more return on investment on your time and effort out of, is when you work on real life projects. So a moot, while you can, even if you win a moot, there is no real life impact of it, right? There is nobody benefited from your arguments, nobody benefited from your research. But if you do something which has a real life impact. So for example, you went and start writing in a blog, or you do some legal aid camps, or you file a PIL to help some poor people. Maybe they are not getting minimum wage. Maybe they are not getting their dues under the laws. You help them out by filing a PIL, collaborate with some lawyers in the area. And there's so much you can do. Once you start doing those things, that has a real life impact. Somebody benefits out of your work. That is a whole different level of success, whole different level of learning, whole different level of recognition you can get from it. And this is also the most satisfying thing about being a lawyer. In a day, I would get a call from somebody asking, what do I do? I'm in trouble right now. And I'm able to give them some ideas. I'm able to give them some clarity, not always a solution. Sometimes I'm able to tell them, look, this is how it is. And that benefits them. And that is such a satisfying thing. Or you can connect. In my case, I don't practice, I don't practice law. But there are others who do, so I'm able to connect them with them. And maybe if you are a practicing lawyer, you can take up their matters and give them justice, help them out in their difficult times. Sometimes you fail to deliver the result or deliver the justice, but you fight for it, right? It is a altogether different kind of satisfaction, altogether different kind of high you get from it, that that you are making a difference. Then very few jobs are like that, where you get that satisfaction of being able to make a difference in somebody's life to that extent. And I think that is the biggest opportunity before anybody who's considering a career in law. A lot of times people want to join the profession of law because they want to earn a lot of money. And only one answer to that is that, you can earn a lot of money, no problem. But the money you earn is always a function of how much value you are creating for other people. So if you create a lot of value for other people, you will get a lot of money. It is just like that in our society. That's how our economy, society, everything is organized. So as a law student or a young lawyer or even a law aspirant, your focus should be on this, that how can I generate a lot of value for others? How can I help people? How can I do things that is benefiting a lot of people? Because if I am able to do that, I will be able to generate value for myself. So you always get a fraction of the value you generate in the world. So you will see that, we have so many free ebooks, free blogging, free webinars, so many free things, right? Why do we do it? Because we are generating value for other people. And when we generate value for other people, then we get a portion of that back. So we are always focused on that. Okay, let's do more and more valuable things for other people. And I think that's something that all of you can take up. There is a fear sometimes among lawyers or law students that, if I do things for free for people, if I give away so much value, what is my benefit? What is my benefit? So a very good example somebody recently gave me, they said that, before you expect a fire in the fireplace, you have to put in the log first. Like, the firewood has to be given to the fireplace and you will get the warmth and the fire later. And that is true in this profession. It is true generally in life. It's a great way to look at things, that we start by putting the firewood. We have to provide the fuel, right? And that is our effort. That is our hard work for other people. That is our value we generate for other people. And the fire happens later. Okay, you will get it, don't worry. But focus should be on generating value from other people. Once you can do it, there is no stopping. Once you start generating value for other people, you will do more and more of it, and you will get your due over time. So this is what to keep in mind, that if you want to light a fire, you cannot say, "Pehle I want the fire. Pehle aag jalao. Aag pehle aayega, baad mein main fire udunga." Sorry, doesn't work like that. And people who have the mindset of adding value to others and getting result later will always succeed much bigger. This is the world we live in today. And that, I think, is the crux of career in law today, that I have seen. And I have seen people succeed. I have seen people fail. I have seen people struggle. And the first rule of success in legal profession is that I give value to people first, and I will definitely get back value. This is how it is for entrepreneurs also. And lawyers are entrepreneurs at the end of the day. I have a firm belief today that over time, it's becoming that in a legal profession, you're a professional and you are an entrepreneur in some ways. And you generate value for people, you get it back. So if you have this mindset from the beginning, so you're putting in all the work into your career. So first you prepare yourself that how can I generate more value for other people? And once you get it right, everything else falls into place. Harsh, does this make sense as an answer to your question?
Yes, sir. It answers to this part, that what they can expect out of this entire segment of law as a profession. What the students can think about, how will be the life at a law school? You mentioned few terms as mooting, debating, but what actually is that which gives them that kind of a motivation to prepare more ardently for this law entrance examination? What they are looking forward after they crack this exam?
So I think one of the best things that happened to me in terms of going to a law school at NUJ was that I was surrounded by really smart people. Okay. So I was very smart, very capable people. So when you get into a good law college, okay, it will be a very challenging environment for you because, I was used to topping in my class. I used to in school, right? And I topped the law entrance also when I joined in UJS. And but you have this thing. As growing up, I felt that I am so smart. I am so good. I am generally I am like the prince of destiny, like that's how, because it was so easy. Like when you are in a in school and all, it's much easier sometimes, but when you go to a good law school, you go to a national law university, a top national university, you come across people who are as accomplished or way more accomplished than you, people who are smarter than you, and people who are very competitive, people who are very hardworking. And I think that environment shapes you. That's the biggest benefit of going to a good law school or a good business school for that matter, in good universities. That is what happens. You get an environment where there are so many excellent people, so many smart people, that rubs off on you, right? So you start, initially you might be taken aback that what is this place, why are people so smart, why are how am I going to stand out here? But over time you figure out, because you are dealing with that problem day in and day out, you start finding your areas of excellence, you start finding out what you are good at, you start finding out what your passions are, then you put in work in those areas. And that is a great a benefit of a law, of a top national university or good law school or any good place. Okay, so I think that's one of the biggest takeaways. The other biggest takeaway is that you'll have a lot of social development when you go to a national law university, right? Or any university for that matter. You'll have a social development. That is like, how do I interact with people? How do I interact with maybe you go for internships? How do I interact with people in a workplace? How do I deal with pressure? How do I deal with deadlines? How do I deal with workload? And all of that starts developing. And that, I think, is something to look forward to. And also you can have a lot of fun. Like college is supposed to be this great time of your life, right? Everybody looks forward to going to college. You have your first independence, living away from family, maybe in some cases, living in a independent, discovering life. Some people look forward to that when I'm in college I will date somebody or whatever. I don't know how kids these days think, but when we were young, right, we were like, we'll go to college. And I studied in a boys' school all my life, so it was like in college then we'll be studying with girls, and I'm sure girls also have some thoughts about that, and at least in our time we used to have. And it's like going to college is like coming of age. Going to college is like getting that freedom, independence, and all of that. So I'm sure today's people, law aspirants and young law, they'll also have that excitement, which is great. And you actually meet people who change your life. You come across ideologies of different kind, right? And also, like some of the subjects that I really look back and feel that they had a deep impact on me, studying economics, studying sociology, studying political science. Those are not law subjects, but that time we did not think that these are important. But what we learned there later on proved to be very, very valuable in those subjects. So yeah, those are sometimes, jurisprudence, philosophy, you'll not think in law school maybe that these are so important. But later on, as you try to build organizations or you navigate different situations in life, these things will prove to be very important.
Thank you, sir. While you were talking about this particular notion, I got reminded of the law school, and it is a very common phenomenon that you will remember for life. Is that few of your friends you will be talking around like 3 a.m. You will be having tea in a garden of your college. You will be discussing about in India's financial policies, and might be other day you are late for the class. So these kind of events will keep on happening, and that is what all you can look up to in a law school. So the next question which we have in our mind, and most of the aspirants have, is what they can do after finishing of their degree, as to what are the careers after law.
So Harsh, one thing that I can think of on the back of what you, before this question, you asked me that, what are the careers one can pursue afterwards. But before that, I just want to tell you one story. I think you won't do justice to talking about life in law school if I skip the part on internships. Okay. So in my first year, I did 3 internships, and one of the internships that was my first outstation internship, okay, was in Dehradun in a NGO called Rural Litigation and Entitlement Kendra, RLK. So I went there for an internship, and they had a hostel, so I was staying there, and there were some 12, 14 other people who had come from different other national law universities mostly. So there was a large group from HNLU. There were 2, 3 people from NUJ, 4 people from NUJ at that time, 2 of my batchmates and 2 seniors. And then there were 1 person from Nalsar and 3, 4 people from NLS Bangalore, National Law School Bangalore. And it was very interesting, okay? And so we noticed that there is a clear difference in the culture of these few groups. So the National Law School Bangalore people would sit and discuss constitutional law. They're also first year students. They will sit and discuss constitutional law at night, after the workday, used to all sit and chat on the terrace of the hostel. And they will talk about constitutional law. Very interesting, right? And then, what recent cases are happening, and that was the subject of the discussion mostly. Now, not that they didn't discuss anything else, but very often, like, they love discussing about these things. The NUJS people were often discussing about some law, but more frequently they'll discuss movies, music, and like politics, and that was how it was. Mostly, a lot of, like, there were 2 big movie buffs with us. So we used to discuss a lot about, European cinema, and, can we organize a film festival in the college and so on. And eventually those people organized the film festival later on in NHS. And then on the other hand, the HLU people were discussing more about, social gossip. Not that they never discussed, anything else. I mean, I don't want to characterize any university. This is just a personal experience, But they were, and it depends not only the university, of course, it depends a little on the people who were there. But they were discussing more about, my life, your life, what's happening, gossips in college, and everybody discussed a little bit of everything. But my impression at that age was that, this is like the NLS people are discussing law all the time compared to the rest of us. and that, I think, I don't know how true that is. It's just an impression of a first year law student. But I think that can be the environment, that the people you are dealing with and the people who are surrounding you, what they are talking about, what they're thinking, has a huge impact. And it is important to choose your group. Of course, you gravitate towards the people. And by the way, it's not that those HLU people were less successful today. I know they are today, like top in-house counsels in big companies, and those NUJs guys, some of them are, advocates in Supreme Court, running entrepreneurs, big organizations, somebody working in a law firm as a partner. Everybody has done well. The NLS guy is doing very well. Mostly are, they're litigating in different high courts. In the end of the day, everybody did well. It was not like that. But, the college experience can be quite different. The different campuses have very different cultures, very different defining flavors. So those things are also important to realize, that, every campus is not the same. There are defining issues about those campuses. There are defining culture. There are, for example, National Law School Bangalore have this thing called 191A. It's like a board where people come and write and, like, post essays, and there is people stand there and read. It's quite fascinating, and that's not there in any of the other colleges. On the other hand, there's a lot more blogging, a lot of sometimes entrepreneurial things happening at NUJs. More entrepreneurs have come out of NUJs than other universities. A lot of like we are seeing that a lot more people are getting into foreign. That there was a time when more people are getting into foreign law schools from not foreign law schools, foreign law firms from NLU Jodhpur for a while. I don't know if that is true now, but a lot of people getting into foreign law firms from NLU Jodhpur compared to some other places. Then we have seen that RMNLU probably produces more civil judges, people who clear judiciary in large numbers from RMNLU. I don't know if it is a defining thing about that university, but there are some signals you get by in different cultures, different universities having different defining factors. So I think that also should be taken into account while you are studying. I don't know how much control we have over that, right? But there are such factors. The question you asked me was about career opportunities after college. Okay. I think the best thing about studying law is that it's a liberal arts education, and pretty much anything can be done after becoming a lawyer. You can become a diplomat, you can become a civil servant, you can become a judge, you can become a law firm lawyer, you can be a litigator, you can be a grassroots level legal activist, you can be in-house counsel, you can be an entrepreneur, you can decide to go into management. There are people I know who after doing law do MBA and go into sales, marketing kind of roles. Really, there is no restriction on anything. You can be a politician for that matter. Like, you look at any area of work, there are lawyers. Some of the leading managing directors and CEOs of this country are lawyers. Some of the top Wall Street CEOs are law graduates, lawyers, former lawyers. So, I mean, law really does not restrict you. That's the thing. Law opens up opportunities for you. What do you want to do? Okay, maybe you want to be a doctor, maybe not. Maybe you want to be a software developer, maybe not. Although one of my, mentees, somebody who I mentored throughout college, he left law and became a full-time coder. He never studied any technology course, but he became a coder, and now he works in Germany, working in a technology company as a developer, right? Graduated from GNLU in law, Donny Ashok. So there are people like that who do completely different things. There are people who build blogs, become YouTubers, make enough money from there. People have done all kind of things, right? So there are people who go into government policy. There are people who become lobbyists. I mean, you name it, and lawyers are doing it. There are lawyers who open restaurants or brands like beverage brands, e-commerce brands. I can think of so many things. There are quiz masters who are, after doing law, they have become professional quiz masters. So that's one defining thing about law. As an engineer, you may not be able to do so many things, or maybe, I don't know, but definitely with law, I mean, the best thing about law is that it teaches you some very important life skills, how to question assumptions, how to argue, how to persuade, how to take something complex and simplify it, how to identify relevant facts and ignore irrelevant facts. These are like very important skills. And through a legal education, you can get that. And I think that makes you a very effective professional in different areas of life.
So we have a question, and which is quite interesting, and it's in the perspective of an aspirant. So how does non-NLU students manage to get better than NLU students? I'm planning AILET and CLAT this year, but if things go south, then what all the things which I should be looking up? Will I be equivalent to an NLU grad? And that is what I think. Only 2,500 odd people go to national law universities. So this is a very relevant question.
Yeah, sure. So, first of all, I strongly believe that if you're not from an NLU, you can still be as good or better. There's nothing that stops you. Yeah, it might be a little harder. There are some advantages that NLU graduates or NLU students have over people who are not from an NLU, but it is something that you can overcome with your own effort. I will just share non-NLU students, 10 students are very unhappy with me for writing this book. But, still, it is, I think, something worth sharing with all of you. I'm going to share a link with all of you where you can download this book for free. I want to share this over chat with everybody. Can I share with chat with everybody, or I cannot?
Sir, you have to send it to me. I will send it to everyone.
Okay, I've sent it to you. You can send it to everybody. Okay.
Yes, sir. Got it.
Why don't you open up the chat? Like, let people chat if there is no problem.
Sure, sir.
So people can share their questions ongoingly. I don't see any harm with that.
Sure, sir.
So, the best way to, the way I see, way to do it is, like I said, that, getting out of sandbox. So there is too much focus in law school on or doing things in the sandbox, in law college. And people who are not from NLU, they also think too much about this, right? That, okay, what I need to in a moot or what? Like, do I need to moot a lot to be as good, or do I need to, like, what do I exactly need to do? And the answer is that do real things, okay? First of all, I have always suggested that choose an area of your interest, right? Because law is so vast, you cannot learn everything equally well. But you can take one area and develop tremendous knowledge and expertise in that. Okay. So you can decide, oh no, I will be an expert on shipping law. Okay. And tomorrow your interest may change. Nothing wrong with that. But at least for some time you'll run with it until your interest changes. And you will do a lot of work in that area. And sometimes it sticks. Sometimes it will be the thing that will define you. But it is important to find something that you want to pursue. Okay. So you might decide that, I want to learn shipping law, and then you should be, whenever you have to write a project or anything in class, you can write on that. You can write on shipping law. You can, attend events related to shipping law. You can attend webinars related to shipping law. You can interact and network with people who are in the law of shipping law, in the world of shipping law. You can read more about it, and you'll develop an interest. Then you can start writing articles, publishing essays, doing things around shipping law. So what will happen is that you will develop a understanding and knowledge of shipping law. Then you'll go and intern in shipping law firms or companies with shipping law work. And as you do that, you will develop your network. So all of that will happen, and you will become quite good at it. And by the time you graduate, when it comes to shipping law, you will have practical knowledge. You'll have network, everything. And then somebody, even if they are from National Law University, even if they are a topper in a National Law University, even if they have won a lot of moots, etc., when they will come in an interview with you, or they come face to face in an internship with you, you will be better because you have been pursuing that with passion. Okay, so that is important. That really works. I have seen it working every time. There are some people who are raising their hands. They want to ask questions. Maybe we can try that.
I have opened the chat box for everyone, sir.
Yeah, so the chat box is open for everybody. You guys can share your questions in the chat box. Okay, and you can also download the book. We have shared the link. Hers has shared a link. Okay, and you can download the free book from there. It's called How Non-NLU Students Can Do 10x Better Than NLU Students. But honestly speaking, even NLU students can follow the same advice. There's no restriction that only non-NLU people will benefit from it. But you'll understand also, you'll develop an understanding. What is the difference in a NLU and a non-NLU environment, and what are the advantages, disadvantages, and how to go about overcoming it. What are some of the things you could do? So yeah, go ahead.
We have received the questions while it was not open. And that was, will work experience matter if somebody applies for LLM abroad?
Yeah, work experience is very important while you are applying for LLM abroad. Not only from the perspective of getting accepted, you can get accepted even without some work experience. But why are you doing an LLM, right? You are probably doing an LLM, especially if you're doing it abroad. The idea is that you should be able to go to a new country, network over there, get some work from there in the future, or maybe get a job over there and spend at least few years working in that country until you choose to get back to India, maybe, if you want to. But the idea is that you should be able to make the most out of your LLM. You're not going to do your LLM again and again and again, right? You'll do it maybe only once, I'm guessing, most people at least. So if you do an LLM early on, right, you lose that opportunity because you can't do LLM again and again. So if you do an LLM when you have 3-4 years of experience, then let's say you have got into Harvard Law School, okay, and you got into Harvard Law School right after law college, right after LLB, and you have got into Harvard Law School after 4 years of experience of working in India. What is the difference? The difference is this, that if you have 4 years of work experience in India, then with respect to Indian law, you will have higher credibility in your class. So if there is ever a discussion on some aspect of Indian law, you will be able to add interesting perspectives from your knowledge, from your experience, from your expertise. And if you don't have, you may not be able to do that if you don't have any experience. Not only that, maybe let's say you are having a discussion over, I don't know, let's say enforcement of arbitration awards in India and other countries with people from different countries, okay, over a cup of coffee or like, maybe your dinner, you are discussing this. Now imagine you're an Indian lawyer just out of law college. You have never done any enforcement of arbitration award. You have nothing much to contribute to that conversation. They'll ask you and you will not know what to say, okay? And if you have 4 years of experience, you will be able to add valuable insights. So what happens is that those guys, tomorrow they have a arbitration award to enforce in India. They might call you up because they know that you know this and they know that they have seen. So networking becomes easier. Let's say you are applying for jobs in the US or applying for internships. Now let's say there's a law firm. They are considering whether to hire a fresher or somebody with 4 years of experience of doing, let's say, merger and acquisitions, or 4 years of experience of doing arbitration or competition law. Naturally, when they are considering 2 people to hire, they will not prefer the fresher. They'll prefer somebody with 4 years of experience, because they are thinking that tomorrow, if there is some India-related work in our firm, some Indian businessman is investing in the US, and that comes to us. Or some US business is investing in some Indian entity or something like that. This person has experience. It is more useful to hire an experienced person. So getting a job also is much easier when you have experience. And finally, the most important thing in my opinion, see, when you are working on something, right? Let's say you start practicing, okay? Either after LLM or after LLB, you start practicing. You do something for 3-4 years, you are doing well. But then you are not getting that much interested, you are not excited, you want to change your career track, then it becomes a huge problem. If you have already done your LLM, if you have not done your LLM, now you can do an LLM and do a change. You take a year break and you find something else. But if you have already done your LLM, then what do? You do another LLM. It's not the greatest idea, right? So if you are doing LLM, a lot of times you are paying from your own pockets to do the LLM, right? So one big problem is that sometimes you're getting scholarship, whatever, but you'll get scholarship once. Will you get scholarship again and again? That's a difficult proposition, right? So you have already done once. So it becomes like the return on investment is low if you do it right out of college. But if you do it after a few years, there is a much better chance. There is an exception to all of this. The exception is that if you want to be an academician, okay, if you want to go into legal academics after graduation, then right after LLB you should do it. Why only LLM? You will immediately do LLM, after immediately do PhD, do it from the best institution you can, and no problem. The more you do, the better, right? Because this is all directly connected with your career trajectory, career growth. So you should do more of it, no problem, okay? So this is how it works. Do law firms look at LLM while hiring you? No. Law firms, litigators, it's nice. If they see, oh, you have a Harvard LLM, New York University LLM, acha nice. Okay? It's a nice thing to say to clients also that, oh, your matter now will be handled by our associate. who's also a Harvard Law graduate or an Oxford graduate, right? Oxford LLM. That helps. I mean, I won't say it has no value, right? Of course, like, if there's a foreign client from UK or from US, and I tell them, look, your matter is being handled by my associate who's a Cambridge LLM. Very good, right? That helps. But is it the be all and end all of it? No. Like, will it give you a better salary? Our experience is no. Will it give you will get hired because you have done your Cambridge LLM? Maybe not. Okay, they will still see that, oh, somebody with more experience of doing this work, we don't have to train that person. Somebody with practical knowledge of doing this work will be preferred over somebody just have an LLM and not having the same level of experience or practical knowledge. I hope that helps.
Yes, sir. So there is another question. Like, there are sets of questions which are coming along. And these are basically to the nature of, I have done MPM, personal management, and now completed LLB. Please guide suitable career option. Then there are other questions with respect to which is a better college to join, if not an NLU. There is another question that I have done my graduation, can I appear for BHU entrance? Then there is another question, sir. Nowadays, many people lost their jobs and many people are not getting salary. How we will deal with this matter?
Okay, there are a lot of questions. Which one do you want me to take? These are all good questions.
Yeah.
Which one do you start with?
So I think that one question which is there, it came a while back. I have done personal management and now completed LLB. Please guide suitable career option.
Okay, so I am always a big fan of you building your legal career based on your past experience and past career, like whatever you have done. You have some. So, for example, if you have done personal management, you might have worked in some company also in personal management, right? So you might have some network. You'll have some classmates who are in personal management. Now they are working in good companies, doing personal management there. So you have some existing network, existing resources, existing connections, existing knowledge, okay, of a certain area of work. Now, naturally, then it comes to mind, if you've done personal management, then what kind of work can you do in labor and employment law? Okay, because labor and employment law is a fast growing, very high potential area of practice. Okay, and it's the same. This answer, don't just think because he has done personal management or she has done personal management, it applies only to that person. Let's say somebody has worked in the insurance sector, somebody has worked in the banking sector. So then also, no matter what you have done, you have some knowledge and you have some experience and some network in that area. So it makes you a better candidate to do the legal work related to that area of business or area of work. So for example, if you have knowledge of personal management, you have network with other HR managers, etc., then getting labor law and employment law work will be easier for you. You will know the peculiar problems that people are in the market today are facing and how you can possibly give them solutions. Your solutions and your interaction with your clients may be better as an employment and labor lawyer compared to other people who do not have that exposure. So you should take full advantage of it. So I'm a big fan of you building your legal career on top of your existing knowledge and network. So whatever you have done, if you are joining law afterwards, let's say you have been in the military and you're joining legal practice afterwards, you should see what kind of problems that military veterans or people who are currently in the military are they facing. Do they need lawyers to represent themselves in armed forces tribunal, which is a tribunal, right? Then somebody recently told me a lot of people in the military, they buy land in different parts of the country, but they cannot personally go there and because they are on duty, they cannot just come back randomly and check on their land what is going on. And then people encroach on the land, and this is a big problem with a lot of military people. So if you're from the military background, then you already know military people. The military people will trust you more because you have been in the forces. They feel connected. You'll have network. Now you can offer a solution that if there is an encroachment on your land or something you bought somewhere, somebody is encroaching on it, this is how you solve it. So this kind of services you can build on top of your existing network, existing knowledge, existing connections, which is very useful. Basically, you know, your success depending on you discovering a big problem that is a problem for a lot of people and giving them an effective solution. So you can, the problem identifying part becomes easier, and to get people from that background to trust you becomes easier because of your familiarity with that profession or that community or that kind of people. And then it becomes easier for you to get that work and successfully deliver and propagate that knowledge that you are good at, that spreads faster within that smaller or narrow community, which is a great idea. Right? Does that question help? Does that answer help and answer the question you asked?
Yeah, I'm waiting for that particular person to respond, but there's another person who has asked this same question twice. A few people have asked the same. Sir, how is law useful to crack UPSC? I see that a lot of kids, while they are in school and they are topping these class 10th, 11th, 12th, and I remember myself as well. A lot of us have this idea and the parents say, "Acha kar rahe ho to pakka civil service nikal hi loge." And that gets into the mind. And a lot of people actually crack this exam. So how is law useful to crack UPSC?
Okay, so let's say it this way, that if you are studying law, then of course there are certain subjects you end up studying anyway. Like, you know, general studies kind of study, you already have an advantage because in a good law college, you get so much exposure to things like sociology, you know, anthropology, psychology. You have some exposure and you have this ability to pick up any random subject and, you know, master it and learn it. So, and you're used to studying volumes of text, you know, in law school. If you are in a decent place, you are used to, like, you know, as a lawyer, you develop this ability to study a lot of text and simplify things, remember things, apply things. I think that itself is a big advantage. Law, you can take law optional in the UPSC exam, which is also an advantage. And you know, I have done webinars in the past with lawyers who have cracked UPSC. It is there on our YouTube channel. You can go and watch for more details. But I have seen my friends, my batchmates, many of them clearing UPSC mains quite easily. You know, like with 1.5 year of practice, 2 year of practice, 2 year of preparation, they have cleared. And 2 attempts, people have cleared in 2 attempts usually. Average attempts, 2 attempts, they have cleared it. And I think it's very doable. I mean, if you're good at taking exams, you're good at studying hard, you're good at disciplining yourself and sitting, and it comes down to discipline, sitting down and studying and being able to study for 10, 12 hours a day. So, you know, law is a very high pressure education. There are some colleges where there is no pressure, but in most colleges, I would say NLUs, private colleges, many government colleges, there's a lot of pressure for you to perform, for you to read, for you to study. So you have the habit of studying volumes of content. Imagine like studying the Contract Act or CPC or IPC or Evidence Act. These are huge, you know, tomes. And then there are so many sections and there are so many interpretations, so many explanations, so many case laws. You know, you are used to studying that kind of volumes of stuff. The problem is that in some colleges, you don't have to do that. In some colleges, you simply, you know, prepare for some past year's question papers and go and write that, and it's enough. That then you may not develop that rigor of study, but otherwise you end up developing the rigor and the, you know, the intellectual rigor and the ability to study and quickly read a lot of things and remember and understand all that you develop. So I think that's the biggest advantage of studying law when you go to write UPSC. Your brain develops while you're studying.
Yes, sir. And also I would like to add, I've had word with people who are preparing for civil services. So my matchmates. So there's one particular topic which comes in the UPSC, and that is known in current arena as polity. Whereas when you are in a law school, you study that particular topic as constitutional law and you study for like entire 3 months. So you have that basic core understanding, and now the other aspirants are just summary. So you have a hold on that particular subject, which is asked mostly in this exam. So now coming on to the last part of this particular session, there are two questions very much relevant for any of the kid who has joined us. How does one come to realize this is the right career for me? Like this is a question which parents also ask, कि क्या ये मेरे बच्चे के लिए सही रहेगा?
Very good question. Very good question. You know, I answered this question a lot of times, and I teach our counselors, not to only law aspirants, but even to, you know, law students and lawyers who are already working. And how do you decide what I really want to do and where will I really succeed? You know, I think there are few things, that fundamental things in our life that motivate most people. I'm not saying everybody, but most people are motivated by one of these things. So some people really are motivated by money. Okay, they want to earn good money. They might say whatever on the face of it, that I want to do social work, I want to be at this and that. But in the end of the day, they want to earn good money. And if you get deeper with them, you'll realize that they want to earn good money, and that is the biggest driving factor in their life. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing to judge. If they're earning money in a good way, without any kind of, you know, corruption, anything, what is wrong with that, right? It's great. You know, in fact, this has led to creation of good companies and good lawyers also. A lot of time, many lawyers are, you know, so that's important. So if you should know that, you know, money is important for you. Then there are other people who are driven by, you know, factors of, you know, fame. They want validation, they want recognition. That is more important for them. Now, they want people to say you are doing great, you are very good. Then you should know that, you know, for me, validation, and at a very honest level, that, you know, yes, this is what I want in my life. Right now, this is what drives me. And these things don't quickly change usually, right? These things remain there. Then there are some people for whom, you know, they want to really change things, help people. And I have met such people, right? They don't care about money. If they can earn more money by doing other things, they can get more, you know, fame by doing other things. But they will choose those things where they can work with grassroots people, making a difference in their life. It's good to be clear that this is what I want, and I don't want everything else. This is what makes my day great, right? So there are those people. Then there are people for whom autonomy is very important. Independence is very important. They don't want to be, they're okay with earning a little less money, but they want to have that autonomy, self, you know, ability to decide how much time to work, how much not. They don't want to be under pressure. There are people who want comfort. There are people who, they think that, look, I want to have a comfortable life. All said and I want money, I want everything. All that's fine. But the most important thing is that I should be comfortable. I don't want to work like crazy. Okay. That's also important to notice, that for me, comfort is important or not. Personally, for me, comfort has, I have always sacrificed comfort for what I want to actually achieve, right? So it's not important for me. Then there are people for whom power is important. They want to be in a position of power, and they really are driven by that. They want to have power. So whatever reason maybe these kind of personalities have developed, but most of the people are driven by one or sometimes combination of two or something of these things. Does that mean they don't want the rest of it? No, it's not like that. Not that they don't want none of that, right? But they definitely value one or two things much more than other things. When it comes to a clash, that is money more important for me, or is recognition more? Maybe they will choose recognition or money. It depends on what is more important to them. And I think that really helps you to decide what you really want to do. For example, if you become a law firm, even a partner in a law firm for that matter, right? What will happen? Like, even if you're a partner in a law firm, you won't have too much time. You might not have that much autonomy to decide how do you spend your time. You may not have that much free time. You might not have even much recognition for that matter in a lot of cases. But money, yes, you earn good money from the beginning. Okay. On the other hand, but you definitely sacrifice autonomy while you are climbing the ladder, and independence and autonomy will go for a toss in a big law firm at least, small law firm also. If you start your own law firm, that's a different thing. Then you need to decide, okay, I'll start my own law firm. I have a lot of independence, a lot of autonomy, but I have to work very hard. Comfort will be less, money will be less. Similarly, if you go into litigation, it might be that, initially it will be very hard. There'll be less comfort. There'll be less security. For some people, security is very important, right? So they want a government job. That's why they really want a government job. Security is very important. But if you're going into litigation, there is less security, less money, but high level of autonomy maybe, high level of satisfaction maybe. And if you succeed, you get high level of recognition, high level of all of that. So you have to decide depending on, if you're an in-house counsel, again, there are different considerations, right? So, you have to, and by the way, your priorities in life may change. Sometimes when you're in college, your biggest thing is, I want to get the job which pays the best salary. But then after 2-3 years of working, you might change your mind. You might decide, what, money is not the only thing. I want some of satisfaction. I want some of more comfort. I want to spend time with my family also. Then people change those career accordingly. So remember that also, that your priorities over your lifetime will probably change. But when you align your career with your purpose and what really motivates you, you tend to succeed. This is my observation, right? So if you highly value independence and you are trying to become a law firm partner, it's a bad combination, because you will not have that much independence in a law firm. When you are a senior associate, when you are a junior associate, principal, you have very little independence. Whatever work your boss gives, you have to do it. You have to do it the way they'll ask you to do, no questions. If they say you have done a bad job, you may disagree, but you can't say that, right? So you may, if you value comfort, then you won't sustain in a law firm, okay? So these are the things. If you choose the career that because others are doing it, because others are all crazy about it, and you choose it despite your personal priorities being different, then it is a recipe for failure. So it's very important to identify what is important to you and then choose accordingly. That would take you a long way.
Now that the toughest question being answered, and this was also a question which was asked to me a lot, many times. So the last questions for the discussion for the day is, what are the top institutes to pursue law in India? And this is again, I need to ask you because kids have been asking, and I don't rely upon some today list or something like that.
Yeah. So, if you just want a list, you can go by a list like the NIRF list, which is by the government of India. Okay, which seems to be fair and based on a pretty objective criteria. NIRF is there, right? So it is a institute. It is basically a national initiative for ranking all different institutes, and you can see the law school ranking under NIRF. That is one option. But honestly, I will tell you that I would say, having seen what I've seen in the last 10 years and studying law for 5 years before that, my observation is that you should go for colleges which give you a lot of freedom. Okay, freedom to pursue internships, freedom to do a lot of maybe online. It gives you free time to pursue things. It gives you the opportunity to do a lot of extracurricular activities and whatever. It's a choice, like, doesn't force you down something that you have to now participate in moot. You now have to go for this internship. You can only go for internship during this month, but never later. You have to attend so many classes. You have to have 90% attendance, 70% attendance. If you are going to such orthodoxy kind of places, it is not good. Okay, it is going to limit your options. It will limit your development. And I would prefer colleges which gives you a lot of free time to intern. For example, the classes are done by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then you can go and intern. Then you can go and attend some events. Then you can organize some event yourself or some activities. You go learn a language maybe. You go and learn French or Russian or Chinese language, right? Japanese language, that will actually give you an edge. So colleges that leaves you with a lot of free time, a lot of freedom, a lot of those colleges are the best. Doesn't charge too much, if possible. Yeah, so those colleges are really good for you to succeed in. Okay, because you have to go and do other things on your own, and if you have that much free time and freedom to go and pursue your interests, you will do very well. If you are interning throughout the year in good law firms or good lawyers, you will learn a lot. You will get great jobs when you graduate. So those things are very important. I do not like colleges which make you study for too many hours, makes you sit in the class for 7-8 hours a day. Those things are really not good. Or so those things you have to see, like who is giving you more freedom to actually pursue your interests.
Now, thank you so much, sir. You answered most of the questions, rather, let me say. And the most relevant was for the kids who are deciding to pursue law as a career. Is it a right career option for me? And you completely give all of us perspective that a particular thing which will remain with the kids as well, I believe, is the term called value addition. If they can add value to something. On this particular note, thank you so much, sir, for taking your time out and taking this session on law as a career. And to the kids who have been asking about that they are in class 12, how they can approach the exam called Common Law Admission Test. All I can suggest to you is that you can look up to our course by the name of Project Maverick. It's available on Lawsikho website, wherein we are taking a live interactive session every given day. So that being said, on this note, yes, sir.
Yeah, just 1 second. I just want, before you end the session, I've shared this book on how non-NLU students can do better than NLU students. But I'm also sharing another book. It's called A Manual for a Flying Start as a Lawyer. So it will give you a lot of ideas on how to do well as a lawyer and what are the practices that will help you. And both are free ebooks. You can go and download them. And it will really, I believe it will help you a lot. So if you haven't already downloaded this, please go ahead and download these books. And we'll be in touch. We'll send you some emails with more updates regularly. And share your questions. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. And I'm Ramanuj Mukherjee. You can add me on LinkedIn and be in touch. And we will share your questions there as well with me. I'll be happy to answer. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing these links and for taking out time for us.
Okay, thank you so much, Harsh. And thank you everybody who made time for this. Akash, how can we attend your seminars at Delhi? We are not having any physical seminars right now. You can attend our webinars. Okay, I will just share the webinar page also with all of you. You can register there. In that case, you will get all our webinar details regularly. Just a moment. You can go register on the. Yeah, you can.
I will share the same on the Telegram group of Project Maverick as well.
Yeah, sure. So here you go, the link. So if you want to attend more webinars, you can do that. Okay, before you go, I want to do a quick poll. So why don't you do a poll quickly? That what was the feedback? You know how to do a poll, Harsh? You are a host, so you'll have it.
Yes, I'm trying to make that happen.
Okay, let me do it orally, right? Out of 10, okay, how would you rate us this webinar? Did you benefit from it? Did you learn something new? Out of 0 being really bad and 10 being the best possible, how much will you give us?
So we have a response from Sridhar MS Chidambara, Nitin Arora. One of the best webinars I've attended, 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 9, 9.5, 11 out of 10 is from Kapil.
Yeah.
Okay. One lab, I even can't count that number. 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10. So it's
okay. Those of you who think that we could do something better, please give your feedback also. That what could we do better in this session, so that we can improve next time. Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. I'll share my email ID. You can share your feedback here. You can share your feedback if you think that there is something we can do better you think we can do something improve in the next session, what can it be? Please share here, okay, on this email ID, and it would really help us to get better at our work. We'll really appreciate that. And thank you everybody, whoever joined us, really appreciate. Take care.
Thank you everyone. And this means a lot. A child saying that I was depressed after board results, but this brought me a light. And
Oh,
this is what
don't.
we were hoping on.
Yeah, don't worry, Akash. Like, board bad results mean nothing. Okay.
We are here for you.
Yeah, we're here for you. And not only that, life is just starting. You will do amazing things. Like, boards mean nothing. I really don't remember how much more marks I got in boards. Who cares?
As sir told, once you go into National Law University, you will sit with the people who have got 48% marks, and there will be 99% marks also. So it doesn't matter in the longer run.
It doesn't matter. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
All right. Thank you, everybody.